Hello gorgeous makeup lovers and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kerry and I love all things beauty and makeup related, especially indie brands, especially when they bring out eyeshadow palettes, and I've never tried Jolie Beauty before, which is a UK indie brand. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and it is the Ethereality palette. So stick around and subscribe. Now apparently I have been missing out because I say I love indie brands on my channel all the time, especially UK indie brands, and then someone did leave me a comment saying, have you ever tried Jolie Beauty, because that's a UK indie brand, and I'm like, no, I haven't tried them, and I didn't realise they were a UK indie brand. I have seen 1 or 2 videos on their palettes, and no, I didn't realise that. So now I am aware of that. Thank you so much to whoever let me know that. I definitely wanted to try them, so I hopped onto their website and I picked out the palette that spoke to me the most with the colour story that spoke to me the most, and I'm super excited to show it to you today and to test out the formula and see what it's all about. But first, let's get into the close-ups and the swatches.
Here's to the good days, here's to the sorrows. If this is a mistake, I know about tomorrow. I don't wanna fight no more, cause I don't feel the need no more, no. Just wanna make it stop. Maybe it's something in the water, or maybe we just hit the end of the road. Right now it doesn't even matter. It's too late not to let it go.
So this palette retails for £37.99, and I must say the shipping was super quick. Like, real quick. I'm in the UK, they're in the UK. It was quick shipping. I don't know if it was 1 day, 2 days. It was ridiculously fast. So I was very impressed with that. It does come with an outer sleeve which looks exactly the same as the palette, so I don't know if I'll be keeping hold of that one. I have had a casualty. I didn't realise, and I'd already swatched it, but I have a broken mirror. Can you see? Yeah, there is a little bit of a brokenness situation going on, which is a little bit of a shame because it's such a beautiful palette and now my mirror is a little bit cracked. But this colour story, when I saw it online, I was like, that is the one. I was tempted with the newest release. I think they released it at Halloween. That also looked beautiful. It's got neons. But because we're coming up to spring as well, I thought this is the one that I want to try. This is the one with the colour story that does look really, really nice. So there are 28 shades in this and it's quite a big palette. I didn't realise there were going to be pressed glitters, and then when I opened it I was like, oh, that's not my favourite formula, which, you know, some people like pressed glitters, so that's absolutely fine. It's not really for me. And I think there is 1, 2, try not to hit myself with the palette, 3. I think there's 3 pressed glitters in this, so it's not too bad considering how many shades you're getting. But when I was swatching it, these 2 shades are incredible. Fairy Dust and, what does this say? Even Star? I think it says Even Star. It's difficult to read this writing because of the font, but these 2 shades were absolutely incredible swatched. I like the fact that it goes from really light to really dark. We do have a black, we have a matte white, we have mid-tones, we have some deeper shades. It's a good all-round palette, although I will say some of the shades are looking, this is quite big to hold, some of the shades are a little bit similar when swatching and just looking at them in the pan. I think it could have been scaled down just the tiniest little bit, just for my personal preference. Some people like the variety of shades that are included in, like, for example, this one and this one. Are they going to look that different on the eye? I don't think so. Also, like this one, and this one, these 3 are kind of similar as well. These 2 are quite similar. I just feel like it could have been a slightly smaller palette and a little bit scaled down because there are some similar leaning shades. So I'm thinking what I want to do today is something purple. I think I'm going to do more than one look with this because it's such a big palette and I want to get to grips with the formula. So I'm going to have to do more than one look. But yeah, today I'm thinking purple. Let me prime. I do always get super excited when I'm trying a new brand, especially when it is an indie brand. It makes me super happy. That is just what I absolutely love. And that is what you'll see a lot of on my channel, although I do really enjoy testing all sorts of eyeshadow, mainstream, drugstore, but indie brands, that is my absolute passion. Now I am priming with my Natasha Denona eye base, and everything that I'm using in this video should be linked in the description box down below, and some of those links are affiliate links, so if you do shop through them I will earn a small commission, so thank you so much if you do that and support my channel. But we are primed and ready to go. So like I said, I'm thinking purple for the first look, and I'm thinking I want to stick to this row. I do really like the fact it's laid out in columns like this, so you can stick to a quite monochromatic look, and that's quite user-friendly and easy, and all these tones do complement each other very nicely. But I am going to stick to more the purple type row for this look, and I think maybe we will deepen it up with maybe the blues or the black, we'll see. Okay, I have just popped on some very, very sexy Makeup Revolution tape. Stop judging me, I needed some tape for a nice sharp line. I do already have my base on, but it's okay, I'll sort it out at the end when I pull the tape off. But I just want to do kind of a wing. I might do a double wing because I do quite like doing that, but that is the tape down for now. Now I think the shade I want to start out with is probably gonna be, shall we test out the black? Shall we? Shall we just do a real thin line of the black? This is called Nocturnal, and I'm just gonna stamp it along the edge of this tape and see how pigmented this is, because when I swatched it, it wasn't wanting to give me a lot of pigment, but of course swatches don't mean everything because that's not on primer or anything, that's just on my bare arm. Like, I don't have a bare arm, I have a human arm, but you know what I mean. Okay, that's going on nicely. It's not the most pigmented black I've ever used, but some people prefer a black that is more buildable, a little bit more sheer, a little bit less scary when you're coming to work with it. So that is not a bad thing. I can definitely see the pigment and it is going on. I wanted to do this kind of shape and look anyway because someone did ask me if I'd do a tutorial on a look I did over on Instagram. I didn't film it. And it was kind of this vibe, so I just thought I'd try and recreate this again, but with this palette, maybe purples instead of, did I use blue in the other look? I feel like I used blue. So now that black shade is laid down nicely, I'm just going to take my brush with no extra product and just fluff over the very edges of this black shade before we come to go in with the next shade. Just diffusing it slightly before you go in with the next shade does help the blend to begin with. And I think the purples look quite light to go next to this black. If I went in straight with the purple, it'd be taking me quite a while to work on the blend. So I think I'm going to go in with one of the blues. Now, the blue mattes are these two down here, and I think I'm going to go in with, which one? High Roll, which is this one. It does look like it's got some shimmer in it. These three at the bottom look like they're mattes with shimmer. But yeah, I am going to go in with High Roll. Oh, that picked up a lot. And there was a little bit of kick up in the pan. Wow. And I'm just going to dab this over the edge of the black to begin with. I don't want to go in with too much too soon and make it crazy, so I'm just going to dab first before I go in and try and blend them both together, but hopefully this will just make the transition to that purple a little bit easier. I'm going to stop there before it gets too crazy, then I'm going to go in with the purple. So which purple do we want to use? I feel like this one here, Amen? I'm not sure, but this purple here. And I'm just going to do the same thing with that purple that I did with the blue and just kind of work on a blend between these three shades at this kind of angle. This purple is sort of on the bluey side, and because I'm popping it next to that blue, it is definitely pulling blue. Yeah, it's definitely looking a lot more blue than I thought it was going to. I thought I was going to be doing a purple look today, but I feel like maybe we're going to be doing a blue look. Then I'm going to go into the shade called I Believe, which definitely does pull a lot more purple. Yeah, I think those other purples are a little bit more periwinkle and blue leaning, but this one is definitely more of a lilac-y purple. Oh, these tones complement each other so flipping nicely. And this one is exactly what I was expecting it to be shade-wise, and I'm just going to make sure that the blend between all of these is how I want it to be before I go in with some shimmers. And I probably will just go over the whole lid with some of the shimmers, give that whole ethereal vibe. Okay, I'm enjoying how that is looking. I want to go into the matte white, which is called Moonchild, for the inner corner, and we're going to see how good this matte white is. I do like a matte inner corner, but we may go over it with some shimmer today. Okay, let's see if it can build up, because it wasn't there straight out of the gate. Maybe this white is in here more to blend out the other tones rather than to be a really pigmented white that you can use for your inner corner, but yeah, that's definitely not as pigmented as I was hoping for, so maybe I'll just use that to blend out the other shades as opposed to using it like this. I definitely think we need to go in with the shimmer in the inner corner because that is a little bit lackluster for me. Time to pull the tape off. Oh, that's satisfying. Now I probably am not going to go in with the pressed glitters. Maybe I will in the next look. I just don't feel like they're not my favourite. Pressed glitters are not my favourite. So what shimmer could we use? I feel like one of the special ones, this Fairy Dust shade is like, okay, it's looking pink on camera. It's looking very green to purple to me and maybe a little bit of blue. This is insane. This is insane. Maybe we should go in with Fairy Dust. And it is so smooth. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm just going to take it on my finger too. Oh, hello. Hello, Fairy Dust. Wow. That is stunning. And I'm just going to make sure I've sort of dabbed it all around. I'm not trying to do a sharp line or cut crease. I just want it to look like a starry night. That is insanely beautiful. Wow. Then for a light shimmer, I think I want to use Fantasy, which is this light purple here. And I'm going to pop this in the inner corner area and see what we're going to get from it. It does look more of a traditional shimmer formula and I'm going to spray it so I don't get fallout. Let's pop this just leading into that real special shade and just over the inner corner. It picks up really nicely. It looks like a nice shimmer. It is on the more traditional side of things, but I don't mind that. But to make it a little bit extra sparkly, I might just go back into a little tiny bit of Fairy Dust and just dab a little bit of this on top. That definitely brightens it up. And then when I'm wanting to do a double wing situation, I will get just a little thin flat brush. And what colour should we use? I think we should just use the purples and maybe the blue. Maybe I'll do a line of that deep blue again and try and do it as straight as I possibly can. And I'm just going to use the same purple shades just to pop underneath this blue and sort of work on a blend out for this part of the wing. Teeny tiny little brushes help. I'm using my Refer 23, which is super dinky. And I'm just slowly adding each of the shades and working on a little blend. This will all come together when the lashes are on, it always does. And I'll just run those same shades along the lower lash line as well, just so that we're a little bit cohesive. I'm not introducing any other shades to the look. The more I stare at the first shades that I thought was a purple row, the more I see that it's blue now. It is definitely more periwinkle blue than actual purple. Okay, I think that's more or less the eyeshadow for this look, so I'll just jump off, add the finishing touches, and then I'll be back to show you the finished look.
Right now I'm standing in the corner. I see you from across the room. It's kind of crowded here, but
so guys, I am absolutely loving this look. I am so happy that I get to wear it for the rest of the day, even to take my daughter to her ice skating lesson. Yes, that's right, I'm going to turn up like this. People are going to think I'm crazy and I don't care because I love this eye look so much. This palette so far has surprised me, especially that shimmer on the lid. That was super special. Like I said, two of them are super special and it's these two, and Fairy Dust was beautiful. The other one called, is it Wenzdae, is more green leaning, so that will suit this side of the palette beautifully. The black was definitely not as pigmented as I'm used to because I usually buy palettes with a super pigmented black, but maybe that is more preferable to you because black eyeshadow can be a little bit scary for a lot of people and that's absolutely fine. You might want something that's a little bit more buildable, not as black and intense and easier to work with. The other mattes that I used, I mean, they were pretty, they went on and they blended. They're not the most bam pigmented shades you've ever seen in your life, but maybe they're not supposed to be. Maybe this is meant to be more of a spring ethereally type of palette and look, but I do think the shades were beautiful that I used. I'm so far impressed. and I'm interested to see what I'm going to think after I've done the second look and tested more shades. I did find the eyeshadows easy to blend, easy to pick up on a brush, and yeah, was able to come up with this look. So far so good. So for look number 2, I'm definitely thinking of the greens and maybe the pinks. Maybe I'm going to combine those, and we do have some deeper greens for the outer corner, so I might keep the green in the outer corner and then going into the pink, maybe something like that could be really pretty. So I think I'm going to start out with the shade Elder, which is this one, and if that's not deep enough for me I can go into the one below it, which is quite a bit deeper, which is called Folklore. So we'll start out with this one and see how we go. I'm going to press that into the outer corner to begin with and just see what pigment we're getting from this. That is going on beautifully, and the green looks very nice. Don't want to take this shade up too high. Just want to sort of keep it like that and just sort of wiggle on the edges of this before I go in with another shade, but maybe something like that. That has packed on beautifully, and it is kind of blending itself out really nicely as well, so I'm quite impressed with that shade, to be honest. Then I think I'm going to go into the shade Kingdom, which is this green here, and then maybe finally topping that off with this sort of mossy green, which is called Gelfing? I don't know. So just going into a little bit of Kingdom and just wiggling this very lightly with minimal product over the edges of that green, and then into the lighter, more mossy green shade just for the very edges of that blend. Then I will go into a bit of that deeper green. Is it a green or is it a blue? The Folklore shade that I said I might go into if it's not deep enough. I just want to pop a little tiny bit of that just to add a little bit of extra depth and to see as well if these shades are a little bit buildable, and it seems that is going on nicely, no patchiness. Then let's go into some pinks. So there's 2 pinks here, one called Storybook and one called Toadstool. So I'm going to be using these 2 to pop in the front area of the eye. I'm going to start out with the deeper pink first and just keep that slightly above my crease and leading into that green. I'm not going to try and blend it with the green per se, it's just going to be kind of placed next to it to give the illusion that there's a blend between them. That pink is lovely. What a lovely tone. These shades do seem fairly buildable. I wouldn't say they're the most pigmented I've ever used, but they definitely do build up to a very nice pigment. They're just not wham bam straight out of the gate, but that has built up beautifully. Look at the intensity of that pink now. And then into Toadstool, which is the lighter pink, just to blend on the edges of that previous pink. This is more of a pastel-y muted pink, but it's working nicely. What's up, darling? What's happening? And I'm just going to use those same pink shades just to bring onto the level lash line and meet up with the green that's down there as well. So more or less what's happening on the top is going to be happening on the bottom as well. Oh. I think we're going to be using these 2 shimmers. So I've got the Even Star, which is one of the special ones, and this one is called Tink, which is more of a traditional shimmer type of formula, maybe satiny a little bit, but I feel like these 2 are going to be perfect for what I want. So I'm starting out with that Tink shade, which was the more traditional shimmer, and I have sprayed it, and I'm just going to pop this toward the front inner part of the lid before we go in with that super duper special. That is really metallic-y actually. Maybe because I've sprayed it as well, but that is looking really nice. I do have a weakness for greens, green mattes, green shimmers, green makeup in general, if you didn't know. That picked up on the brush beautifully. It's applied, no problem. Like I say, I did spray it, so maybe that has helped it look a little bit more vibrant, but I'm liking how that is looking. Then I'm going to flip my brush over and go into Even Star, I believe it's called. Actually, I'm going to take my finger for that because I think actually it picks up a lot better on a finger than on a brush, these special shades. And I'm just going to put that on the middle to the outer part of the lid. That is so wet looking. It is beautiful. It is so soft and smooth. Ugh. I'm being judged right now currently. My beautiful cat is sat on his little stool in the corner watching me like, she's at it again. Then back into those mattes just to tap over the very edge so it looks a little bit more blendy. I have to say, guys, this look has turned out better than what I had planned in my mind, and I think it's down to that amazing special shimmer, metallic, foil, whatever it is, it's divine. Okay, I think that's it for the shadow. Let me jump off, do the finishing touches, and then we'll see the final look and discuss my thoughts on this palette.
Right now I'm standing in the corner.
So finished look number 2, and I really, really like this one. I don't know if I can pick out of the 2 looks which is my favourite, because looking at this now, oh, that special shade, I can see it's definitely got some pink in it as I'm moving, and it's definitely got green in it, so it pairs with these mattes absolutely perfectly. I feel like I've got like flower petals on my eyes or something. It's giving me that beautiful spring vibe. I did go in my waterline with my Colourpop gel liner in Teaspoon because I thought this green matched nicely with the shadows, and I did use for my lips my MUA lip liner in Sincere, and then I had to go in with my Star Wars lipstick from Colourpop called Dark Lord because I'm wearing my new top. Welcome to Tatooine. I'll try and remember to link the top down below just in case you're interested, but I found so many good ones on Redbubble thanks to my friend. I was like, where did you get your top from? She's like, Redbubble. She sent me the link, and then I fell down a little dark Star Wars hole looking at different t-shirts. So now I may have 2 and I may have a lot more on my wish list. So please do let me know what you think to this look and the previous look, and please tell me which is your favourite out of the 2. Susie, I know you're not going to be able to decide because you're never able to decide, but I love you anyway. So let's discuss this palette. I was so excited to try a new indie brand, especially a UK indie brand, really fast shipping, loved the aesthetics of the palette and the colour story. Now I do think this palette is a little large for what it is because there are shades in it, like I said before in the video, that are a little too similar to each other to be included in the palette. So I mean, these tones here, and then these here, and then these 2, it could have been scaled down just that little bit more, and then it wouldn't have had to have been such a big palette. I mean, or just to swap them out for something that's a little bit more different than some of the shades that are already in there, because on the eye some of these are just going to translate exactly the same and they're going to look like the same shade once you've applied them. Obviously I didn't use the pressed glitters because I'm not the biggest pressed glitter fan. There are 3 in here, and when swatching them and putting my finger in them, it just feels like grit to me, and I do not want to be putting anything that feels like grit anywhere near my eye. It's just a no from me. I know some people really like pressed glitters, so you might absolutely love that they're included in this palette, but for me, I don't think that there's a place for them in palettes, and don't cancel me. I mean, for me, I'm not keen. But the other shimmers that are included in this, especially these 2 special shades, just wow, blew my mind with how soft, smooth, reflective and shifty they are. They are absolutely incredible. The other shimmers that are included, like Tink that we used today, and this purple and this purple, and this purple. There's 3 purple shimmers, interesting. Maybe one of those could have been a different, maybe a pink shimmer or a white shimmer, because I was looking for something a little bit lighter shimmer-wise, and the lightest thing that you've got is the pressed glitter. So if that could have been a shifty white shimmer, I would have been over the moon. The matte white wasn't as pigmented as I would have hoped for, but it would be nice to blend out the other shades. The matte black isn't the most pigmented I've used, but it's definitely workable. There's no issues with it. I found the blending to be really, really easy with all of these mattes, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't know what to expect, but the blending is super easy. I do feel like it's somewhat buildable, this formula. I didn't pack layer on top of layer on top of layer, but I did definitely deepen up with shades, and I found it to be quite nice. So I'd say, yeah, definitely from what I've tried so far, They are a little bit buildable if you're using a deepening shade on top of something else in the outer corner. They're definitely blendable. They're pigmented enough once they're built up. The shimmers are beautiful. Not keen on the pressed glitter. And yeah, maybe it could have just been scaled down a little bit colour story wise, but overall I'm really impressed and I actually want to try more from this brand. I might have to have a little look on their website, see what else calls my name. I did really like the neon-y looking one. Don't know if it's called something like Zombified. That looks interesting and very different to this one, so maybe that's another good one to pick up and try because it's difficult to do neon eyeshadows, so I'd be interested to see how they apply. If you would like to see me review anything else from this brand, please do let me know. Also, have you tried this brand? And please tell me your thoughts on this brand because this is my first ever experience. Obviously I've done 2 looks with this palette and used as many eyeshadows as I possibly can. I've only got 2 eyes, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Don't forget to let me know which look was your favourite, and I will leave all my socials in the description box, as well as my makeup Patreon and YouTube membership, and hopefully you'll stick around and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!